An 88-year-old woman once called me in tears. The IRS sent her a letter telling her she owed hundreds of thousands of dollars on a house she sold, her home of over 40 years. But the IRS was wrong. But because she'd been too scared to respond to the notices, the debt was now legally assessed. Although I was able to fix her situation, here's what you should do instead. I'm Andrew Bosserman. I'm an IRS defense attorney and former IRS agent. Chapter 6 of my book, The IRS Survival Guide, is about one of the most important and oftentimes ignored rights you have, the right to disagree with the IRS. So the IRS isn't infallible. Their systems process hundreds of millions of returns and notices. Errors happen more often than you think. In fact, a significant percentage of IRS assessments are incorrect or based on incomplete information. So here's some reasons why you want to push back when the IRS says you owe additional money. First of all, you may just simply be right. The IRS can and does make simple mistakes. Also, even if maybe the IRS is partially right, or say there's a gray area on whether or not you qualify for, say, penalty relief, pushing back, getting to appeal it can oftentimes reduce or remove the assessment. Also, if you didn't provide documentation in a situation, providing documentation now can change everything. And one of the main things to remember is oftentimes you have time-sensitive rights, meaning failing to respond within deadlines can permanently waive your right to appeal or go to court, or even if it doesn't permanently waive your rights, it makes the process a lot harder. To challenge something administratively, that means with the IRS, not going to court, here's how the dispute process works. Step 1, you need to respond to the initial notice. So sometimes it's a letter in the mail, a CP 2000 notice saying that they think you owe additional tax, or maybe it's after an IRS audit and they issue you a report saying you owe additional money. Regardless of the notice or correspondence, this is your easiest opportunity to resolve the issue. Sometimes just a clear, documented response closes the case here. And if you've been involved in an audit, you can also request a conference with the IRS agent's manager, which can sometimes help, although oftentimes I find that the supervisors of IRS agents just oftentimes follow what their agents do. If you can't resolve it that way, the next step is to file a protest to go to IRS Appeals. The IRS Independent Office of Appeals is a separate part of the IRS. They're designed to be neutral. A majority of cases that go to appeals get resolved without going to court. Their goal is to settle cases to keep them out of court and save both the taxpayers and the IRS's time and money. Also, you can request sometimes what's known as an audit reconsideration. So if tax was assessed and you have new information or believe that the IRS audit process was flawed in some way, you can request audit reconsideration even after the fact. And finally, if all of these fail, you still have the right to challenge the IRS in court, but that's the subject for the next video. But let's go back to the initial story I told about the elderly woman who sold her home. She lived in her home and used it as her primary residence for over 40 years. That means she qualified for that primary residence exclusion from capital gains, meaning she likely owed nothing on the sale of her home. But the IRS's systems saw a 1099 in their system that it was a property sale and they flagged it as taxable. My client, she put the notices in a drawer. By the time she called me, the tax was legally assessed. We had to work through the audit reconsideration process and months of back and forth to fix something that a single letter likely would have resolved at the start. So the key takeaway of this video is when the IRS contacts you, respond. Every time, even if you think they're wrong, especially if you think they're wrong, you need to respond. So before I go, if you found this video valuable, I want to make sure you have everything you need to protect yourself from the IRS. And because of that, I'm giving away a free PDF copy of my book, The IRS Survival Guide. And you can go to theirssurvivalguide.com. So head there now, grab your copy, and arm yourself with every strategy that I put in the book. And again, the link is theirssurvivalguide.com. Completely free, no strings attached. Don't wait until the IRS comes knocking. Get prepared today. So if this video helped you, please subscribe and share it with another business owner you know who needs to hear this. And I'll see you in the next video.